What up, YouTube? Mr. Mulligan back in the building after 2 weeks of no Pokemon content. I do apologize about that, guys, but I will get into what happened along with some channel updates in another video that I've got planned. But today I've got another Pokemon X and Y OU battle against the user known as Aquamayne. This battle took place on Pokemon Showdown. Before we get started, let's take a look at the teams. I'm using the same team that you guys saw in the last battle I posted, which if you haven't seen that battle, I will leave a link to that in the description box below for you guys to check out. This team is built around offensive Trick Room Victini. My opponent's team looks pretty balanced with a strong defensive core that's been well established since Black and White, that being Ferrothorn and Tentacruel with Gliscor supporting it. Charizard adds a Fire, Water, Grass element to the mix, but there are some threats I'm worried about, mainly the Charizard and Cloyster, since Shell Smash Cloyster can potentially sweep me if I don't play this right, and Charizard's just unpredictable in general. And if this is Charizard X, I am in big trouble. But I'm thinking this is why, because for one, this battle took place a few weeks ago when it seemed like Charizard Y was everywhere. And secondly, there is a Tentacruel on this team. So the Rapid Spin support suggests that my opponent is running Charizard Y. So the plan is to get rid of Charizard and Gliscor and to make sure I don't get swept by Cloyster. And hopefully that'll open up Victini for a sweep. But I've rambled on long enough. Let's get into the match. I'm going to lead with my Choice Scarf Rotom Wash, expecting my opponent to lead with Charizard, and Rotom is generally a pretty good lead. He does lead off with Charizard, so I was pretty positive it was the Y variant, and he does Mega Evolve into Charizard Y, goes for Solar Beam, and I Volt Switch out to Hydreigon to tank it the best that I can. Now, I'm actually going to switch to Aegislash after, so I can scout for the Focus Blast. But my opponent is going to make a nice prediction here, and he goes for the Heat Wave. And he's going to absolutely one-shot my Aegislash, which really hurts since now I can't spin block Tentacruel. But I bring Rotom back in because I don't have a safe switch to this Charizard. I need to either force it out or get damage on it so I can set up Stealth Rock. Force Tentacruel to come in and attempt to KO that. So basically I want to make it so Charizard's dead on arrival. I Volt Switch since I didn't want to miss Hydro Pump, and he brings in Gliscor, which is fine, since I also get to try and stall out Sun, since most Gliscor runs some type of defensive set. But I go to Ferrothorn. Since it's a good chance to set a Stealth Rock, he double switches to his own Ferrothorn, predicting me to go to Blastoise since he knows my Rotom is Scarf now. He shows Thunder Wave, which actually benefits me, but I get Parahax on the first turn, and I know he's going to set up Stealth Rock, so I go for my own, especially since Ferrothorn was the only possible rocker at that point on his team. So I'm predicting him to either go back to Gliscor, who's a pretty good switch into Ferrothorn, or Tentacruel for the Rapid Spin, so I go back to Rotom, and the latter happens. Now I'm going to be able to get a Volt Switch off, go back to Ferrothorn since he can no longer be burned by Scald. If he spins, Tentacruel takes damage from Iron Barbs, further wearing it down, but he shows Giga Drain. Here he goes for Scald, which I'd say is a misplay, because even if he didn't think Ferrothorn could hurt Tentacruel, I had no reason to risk getting burned by going to any of my other water resists. So I show him Choice Band and knock out the Tentacruel with Bulldoze. He brings in Charizard Y. That gets knocked out, which was another misplay, since he could have at least saved it for Death Fodder later on. I switch Blastoise to Blastoise at this point after seeing Gliscor come in. It's not a big deal if it catches Toxic, so I just go ahead and Mega Evolve and go for the Rapid Spin after catching an Earthquake. He now goes for Toxic, and the Rapid Spin allows me to keep Victini healthy if I need to bring it in. So I switch to Ferrothorn, either expecting Protect or Substitute. He does go for Protect, and I thought I was going to be able to do a ton of damage here to this Gliscor since I'm banded and I'm paralyzed and it's a Stab Gyro Ball, but he actually showed the knockoff, which was a bit surprising for me. I did get a crit, so at least for that turn it's like the knockoff never happened. So I was thinking I could 2-hit KO it with Gyro Ball, but it was probably a mistake to do this in hindsight, since he's just going to Protect here every other turn to get HP back from Poison Heal until Gliscor is healthy enough to take another hit from something. So I switch to Hydreigon, and I end up just dropping Draco Meteor. He's going to stay in here on the second one, which really surprised me. I thought for sure I misplayed there since he has Ferrothorn in the back, but in hindsight, he really doesn't have a safe switch into this Hydreigon. But Glycor gets KO'd. He brings in Conkeldurr on the free switch. This tells me that he's carrying Assault Vest, so I go to Blastoise as fodder. Since it's too weak to stand up to Cloyster anyway at this point, he shows Ice Punch. He's going to go for the Mach Punch, and I actually go for the Scald, which was a really bad play on my part since Conkeldurr has Guts. I guess I just wanted as much damage as possible and was half hoping Ferrothorn would come in and I could possibly burn it. But Blastoise goes down to the Poison. I bring Rotom Wash back in, go for the trick to take this man's Assault Vest away from him, because I think Conkeldurr looks a little better with a Scarf on, just saying. But he goes for Thunder Punch. Looked like a bad play, but he probably didn't want to give Victini a free switch in, since if it's Choice Banded, it would wreck everything he's got left. And he's just going to Father Conkeldurr at this point. So I snuck Hydreigon back in, and since I have 2 Electric Resist at this point, so it's a bit risky for him to switch out. And even if I got paralyzed, it would only help me out on this particular team. But I roost up to full and just drop Draco Meteor on whatever wants to take one. It turns out to be Ferrothorn. I'm going to switch to Rotom Wash because I know he won't go for Power Whip, expecting me to stay in and Fire Blast or Flamethrower. And I was predicting either Thunder Wave, Stealth Rock, or Leech Seed. He goes for Leech Seed. I'm going to Volt Switch back to my own Ferrothorn on the Power Whip to wear down his Ferrothorn more. I could have gone to Victini, but there are 2 things I am wanting to do for the rest of the match. Get Victini in against Conkeldurr, locked into a fighting move, and prevent Cloyster from getting a free switch in to set up a sweep. But I go for the Bulldoze just to get damage on really anything. And Conkeldurr comes in, which is perfect. Now he locks in a Drain Punch to KO my Ferrothorn. That gives Victini a free switch in. Now the plan here is to spam Fusion Bolt, because I want to bluff that I'm Choice Scarf, and at the same time prevent Cloyster from coming in. And he's just going to fodder Conkeldurr at this point, after a couple of Fusion Bolts. He's going to bring Ferrothorn in on the free switch here, but instead of just finishing off this Ferrothorn, I decided to just ball out here, because I could have easily knocked this out with V-Create, but I just wanted to show off the set at this point, which was a huge risk, since I'm potentially throwing the game away. Though for what it's worth, it also does prevent Cloyster from going for Shell Smash. It totally backfires because I get paralyzed, so the V-Create goes off late, and between Iron Barbs, Rocky Helmet, and Power Whip, Ferrothorn is going to get enough damage on Victini for Cloyster to come in and knock it out with an Ice Shard. And I realize that Trick Room could come back to bite me here, since Rock Blast has a pretty good chance to KO Rotom, and that's my only free switch in my last hope to win. But my opponent goes for the Shell Smash, and I get off the Volt Switch for the win. I was totally surprised at that move. But it was a pretty good match, even though I took a huge risk at the end of the game. But at least this time I got to show Victini off a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed the match. If you did, feel free to hit the like button just below the video and leave a comment whether you liked the video or not. But if you love the video, feel free to favorite it or share it with your friends across the internets. Also, if you don't want to miss any of my future content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button just below the video. Also, you can also follow me at all the social clubs I hang out at. Twitter, Facebook, Google+. Links to those will be in the description box below. And like I said in the beginning, guys, I've got another video that I'll be putting up in the next few days, letting you guys know what's coming up for the channel, so look out for that. But until then, take care, guys. Mr. Mulligan has left the building. Peace.